Hello and welcome to Rule of Thirds, a conversation about art, design and culture with your hosts
Burns,
Mike
and Jude.
If this is your first time listening, welcome to the family. Be sure to follow us on our Instagram at Rule of Thirds Pod. Don't be shy to say hi.
A question about the arts and the craft. If you didn't know, then it's good that you asked. You tune into the culture. Just the rule of thirds. If you want to, you could tune at work, yeah. And tell me, does that frame fit good? Does it feel right? You want to steal a photo for your website, but you want a logo we can design, right? Yeah.
Yes. In today's episode, we are joined by the living legend, Nwaka Okparaeke. We find out about her roots as a visual artist, projects, recognition, and so much more. She's been nominated for Photographer of the Year at GUAP Gala, so vote for her now at guapgala.com. Enjoy the episode.
We have a special guest on for this episode.
Woo! Yeah. Who do we have in the studio?
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Nwaka Okparaeke.
Hey.
How do I introduce myself?
Go on.
I'm a photographer, film director.
Don't worry, we're going to unpack more.
We're going to
unpack more.
An all-around amazing visual storyteller as well.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming through.
Yeah. I remember the first time I saw your work was actually J Huss. I think that was the first, because
That for the ugliest.
yeah.
Wait, that was the first.
Yeah, because fair enough, obviously, because you go same church and stuff. It was like people used to drop your stuff, but I didn't know who it was because you don't really show your face too times.
Yeah.
So I was like, who's this person? Everyone was saying like, "Hey, your work is cool." I was thinking, who's this?
Yeah.
How does everyone know this person? But I don't.
Yeah.
I was like, right. And when I actually clocked it was you, I was like, oh my gosh, like,
Yeah,
no, your work is, and the thing is, it's so recognizable as well.
it really is. Yeah.
Obviously, I'll message you and be like, you done this, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because
It's very obvious, isn't it? You're like, that's Nwaka's work.
That's sick.
Is that a choice though? That whole not showing your face, let the work speak type thing.
Yes, that is definitely a choice.
Yeah.
I want people to just, look at the work and just let the work speak for itself, and then they can engage with it how they feel like it without any, I feel like when you see somebody, just natural human nature, you judge them whether it's good, bad, something in the middle, whatever it is. And I'd rather they can just look at the work, take it in without any of me clouding the way that they see it. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So like before we get into like the work that you've like done and how like you create like your visual identity, let's say, or like aesthetic throughout the projects that you worked on, how did you start like with photography and with film? Because I've noticed that there's a lot of film work that you have, probably more on your website, but then on Instagram there's more like photography.
Yeah.
So how do you like delve into like both of those areas?
I started with photography. So I did a foundation course at Ravensbourne, fashion and textiles, and that had fashion promotion, which has fashion photography.
Okay.
So then that was like my first time. I already played around with photography beforehand. Like I tried to do it at GCSE. That didn't really go very well. But then, so I knew how to use a camera, but in terms of actually like using it as a way to like tell stories, experiment with concepts and stuff like that, I only realized that was possible when I was doing the foundation course. And I was just like, oh, this is probably I did loads of other things. I did styling, I did textiles, fashion design, set design, a whole bunch of stuff. But photography was always the most fun thing. And like if somebody asked me to do that, I was always most excited. So I just stuck with it. And then continued doing it for maybe like another year and a half. And then one day I was like, there's this, photo shoot I really want to do that would like sort of be based on like just visualizing emotions. And then I was like, actually, this would be much cooler if I could do like music with it, have like movement. And then I thought, let me just try and, do a video instead. So then I shot that myself, edited it, did everything. And then I put it out there, and then like I just started getting messages from musicians and stuff. I want to do music videos, blah, blah, blah. Because the style of that video had a music video-esque feeling.
Was this a new room or was this?
This was my first. It was Out Loud. That's what it's
Okay.
called. Yeah. So first ever one I did, very DIY looking, but I love it because it's like a piece of me.
First
so,
baby.
Yeah.
Started, man.
Exactly. And then shortly after that, I then did another one. Can't remember the order of my films at this point. Maybe it was A New Room. Yeah, I think it was A New Room. And then and then once again, same thing. So every time I put it out there, and everyone's like, "Oh, I want music videos." So yeah,
Right.
cool. And then I did another one called Lean Back, and then that's when I started getting people actually being like, "Oh, I would like campaigns or like TV idents and stuff
Right.
like that." So then that's when I started
That's
getting
the
this
one with the friends.
Yes.
And there's a friend like going through a process of
Yeah.
like almost like coming into themselves.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh.
I really like that one.
Nice.
Really. And what you said about music, I find really interesting also because throughout all of the films that I've seen from you, I was gonna ask like who your inspirations were because the sonnets like all part like the same like world,
Yeah.
like with the visuals as well as the audio is quite like dreamlike or like you're in a space. Like it's a very weird analogy or like comparison. But I was thinking of like Black Panther,
Yeah.
like when they go to the ancestral plane and
Mm.
like when
The Lion King
T'Challa
thing.
goes to like
Yeah,
talks
yeah.
like his like ancestors and stuff.
Just
There's like that
dreamy,
world,
Yeah.
and like it made me think of that. So like how like with the music as well as like the visuals, like how did you kind of like I don't know, what am I even trying to ask?
How'd you get there?
Yeah, how do you get there?
Yeah.
How did I get there? The inspiration, I think, is probably around those times anyway. Probably be like Tyler Creator and Frank Ocean.
I see that, yeah.
Yeah, and then I just I was really into just a lot of UK like musicians and music producers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And being able to meet them just through like events and stuff. So I just basically sort of like sat with a few of them. They've all got their own kind of sound, aesthetic and whatnot. And then just sort of was like, all right, these are my references. Like, let's sit down. So we would sit in like the studio together and just like start pulling things together. For A New Room, I actually had like somebody playing saxophone. I had a pianist. I had somebody on the cello. And we just I just booked studio sessions and was just recording them and then sort of like use those sounds and then completely like distort them so they don't even sound like that anymore. And then use that to create beats and like. Or create sounds that sound like someone's talking, but actually they're not in the base of the music, and just build up on it basically. But for me, it's just all about the feeling. Like if this scene is like I love it when feelings contradict each other because I think that's the most natural like human state where it's like always contradicting.
Yeah.
So it's like if I want a scene to be like a mixture of being completely uncomfortable but also very joyous, then it's like how do we bring a joyful moment with so sometimes it's like maybe music that just feels really intense and like a bit scary or whatever, and then like a scene of somebody just like smiling and laughing and do you know what I mean? It's like these sorts of things is like what I'm looking for when I'm bringing it all together.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. So it's like almost like juxtaposition every single time.
Yeah,
Okay.
every time.
Sounds like chaos. I was gonna say, like, in terms of you coming up in school and stuff, do you feel like you had a support system in school? Because it sounds like you kind of deviated from every single thing and then just did your own thing.
In school, nah. So school wasn't a very supportive environment. Even when I was in like art school, like Ravensbourne, and then I did London College of Fashion after that for a few months. My teachers never liked me. My lecturers don't like me.
Wait, they didn't like you?
What
they
was
don't
the
like me.
sort of demographic of your class?
Oh,
Just double checking. Yeah.
The primary school, secondary school is like mainly the area I grew up in is like mainly like African, Caribbean.
Okay.
Yeah.
A drop of white people here and there, you know,
Yeah.
like some Asian.
Yeah.
That is pretty much everyone's like black or mixed race.
Yeah.
So that why are my teachers like me? I don't know.
What are you doing?
Were you quite?
This is the thing.
like,
I just
were
mind
you
my. Do you know what?
questioning-
Actually, I think I do know what it is. So I think a lot of teachers like students that like do well, and they can be the ones that said, "I'm the reason that they're doing well." Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Whereas because I'm so independent,
Yeah.
it's like I'll do well, but they can't claim anything.
Right.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So then they're like, okay, well, this is great, but you know, I told you that you should probably use this
Yeah,
technique,
yeah,
and you
yeah,
only
yeah.
use that one, and so you know,
Mm.
and then it's like they're now giving me hostile energy.
Okay.
Even in Ravensbourne, I had some lecturers trying to sabotage me, like marking me and saying I didn't come in that day, so my attendance would go down.
Oh.
Even though I was clearly there, they saw me.
You can
And then,
relate, yeah?
you know, it all just came down to like, we'd have meetings, they tell me what direction they want me to go in. I don't want to go in that direction. I know what I want
Wow.
to go in my direction.
Yeah.
Everybody else, even like on other courses courses, like other lecturers are like, wow, this person's work is the best. But
It's
my
not
lecturers
It's not that.
are like, this is dreadful. We're not
Oh
marking it
wow.
Huh?
because you didn't follow what we said you should do.
Right.
So I even had like other lecturers like call me in from like other unis saying, hey, can you give like workshops to our students
What?
to be like you? But my own lecturers are
Didn't-
like, no.
What ops?
So, you know.
There's like a scripture, that says like a prophet's not respected.
Yep.
In their own
Yeah.
way.
I was just saying,
Your own
That really comes to mind.
Yeah.
That's nuts, fam.
That's really crazy. I think because I guess gauging from like your work and stuff, like it seems like you have a very strong voice. And like you're quite like you question things. Like I know you've have the project No Face,
Yeah.
where you're kind of like unearth. The series goes through like a duo like trying to unearth a conspiracy and that kind of thing. So like part of me is like, where did that come from? And like, is it that you're always like wondering about things and questioning things and then trying to find a way to like explore that through your work?
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
My work is just literally self-expression. It's just like any other artist, really. I'm just
Yeah.
like, what I usually do is I just start off like with a feeling and I just follow that feeling through. If I don't have a concept yet, it's fine. The concept usually comes by the time I've actually finished all the work. But the concept was always so clear to me by the time I finished that this is 100% where the feeling originated from. I just didn't realize that when I first had that feeling. So I really like work, like creating because of that. It's like almost like therapy in a way, like helping me to self-assess, help me to process my thoughts, help me to articulate my thoughts to myself, so that I can sort of navigate my own life. So I really like it for that reason. But with like No Face, I think I'm always like interested in like conspiracies and stuff like that, just from a interest in like humanity.
Jude,
Is it?
Jude, he loves. He loves conspiracy.
No, I do.
Yes.
He loves it.
I'm so sorry. Sorry.
That was needed.
But I think it just comes from like I'm really interested in humans, and I think sometimes for some reason
Is that anthropology?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
Study of
Is-
Is it? Yeah.
I never know if it's
community and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't
Human
know.
behavior, I guess.
But I think it's just, I think a lot of us, I don't know, we try and what I seem to see is there's a pattern of like humans trying to turn a blind eye to who they really are. And I think,
that's
Word,
like
word,
the
word,
lean
word,
back.
word.
Thing. That's like kind of what that exposes,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. So I just find it interesting to be like, no, even with myself, like if I'm like have a point of view, even since I was in primary school, I've had the same sort of perspective and sort of like thinking of like, if I think or feel something or believe in something, why? Like I always ask, and I'm not afraid.
You ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
It's
And
good.
I'm not afraid either. Like I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, you know, I don't want to sit with my thoughts because it's gonna take me down. I couldn't care less. Like
Right.
take me down that path. You know what I
Is it a
mean?
thing where
Let's
you
rip it all
you just
over.
want the truth kind of thing.
I
You
want
wanna
the
unpack
truth.
everything,
Like I
yeah,
want to
yeah.
know what's real. Do you know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
I understand like I will never be able to understand everything, but it's still a fun process to like
100%.
just try and think, and then always to know that even when I'm confident, I feel like I figured it out, I might not have figured it out. That to me really excites me as well. Like I
Okay.
love the concept of like just being humbled at the fact that I'm actually a human. I don't know everything, but I can explore. I can be real. I can see what's in front of me. I can dissect it honestly without trying to make myself feel comfortable by believing or submitting to what everybody else wants to believe and submit. Just for the sake of being
Just for the sake
comfortable.
of it, yeah,
No,
yeah.
like, I'd rather be uncomfortable. So that's just me on a personal thing.
And where are you finding this? Not the confidence per se, but this certainty. Almost like what are you trying to say with the work?
To be honest, the work is for me. So
Okay.
however you want to interpret it is completely onto you. Like I have like everything I just explained, this is how I like to be. But
Yeah.
I'm never expecting
Anyone
anybody
else.
else to follow
Makes sense.
suit. Do you know what I mean? So for me, yeah, it's just I express myself how I express myself, and then it's all for me to articulate myself and understand myself. It's just all, and then I'm just sharing it with the world, and what it does for you is what it does for you. But what is interesting is that actually, despite the fact that my work is not explicitly clear what it's about, I do get a lot of people when they interpret their way of seeing it. I'm like, actually, this is all very relevant to the feelings I was having. So clearly, it is actually communicating something, even though I'm not aiming for it to.
Yeah.
Right.
Growing up, did you feel like your parents sort of pushed you in this direction?
No.
So what?
Wait, where were they pushing you?
Yeah, what did they want you to do?
Or they didn't push you at like
Yeah.
anywhere?
How would
specific?
they give you like almost like free will to like kind of like explore?
I don't even know how to go into that. I think what was it? My parents were busy. So my dad was like he worked loads, fair enough, and then he was flying in and out of the country quite a bit as well, just business stuff. And my mum was actually ill from pretty much all my childhood to the extent where, you know, she wasn't really able to like, you know, give us better energy or push us, motivate us, all that sort of stuff. Like she did try, I give her that, but it wasn't like it did feel like I was just like, you know, let loose kind of thing, and not because they wanted me to be let loose, but just circumstances. So, you know, they did want me to sort of go into like a stable job, you know, do the typical things that, you know, African family, you know. But because they wasn't around to push me that way, I did have freedom. So that's sort of like how the balance was.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it really does. I guess with like that time that you had to like, I guess go about just like do your own thing, did that allow you, maybe it might be assuming, but like allow you to like run wild with like your imaginations and like question things because you had like your own time and space to just kind of be?
Yeah, pretty much. I did actually suffer depression as well when I was a child, and that really helped me. Well, I say helped. It's not ideal, but like that did really push me down an imaginative route because I'm naturally I'm an introvert, so I feel like introvert with depression is extra introvert. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like really, and that's when the dissecting my mind started to come in. So it's like, because I was struggling with depression, I think from like around 5 years old to like maybe 10.
Okay.
So it's like that's all your developing years. So if I'm so used to just being in my own head, just watching other people, not interacting with other people, observing, it's like these natural interests and noticing human patterns start to develop in me, and now it's just a part of like who I am and like how I see things.
I think we were having a conversation about this a few episodes ago about how like, so I used to say like how I used to like run my own business as a kid and stuff. How like creators, that's our way of dealing with trauma sometimes. So for me, like I used to create these spaces where I was like, oh, I was happy, I was rich, do you know what I mean? It's like you're creating this world to kind of escape.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I did that as well. I actually, I used to write diaries when I was and when I read through the diaries, it's all lies.
It's like, oh, I clipped my wings today, you know.
I clipped my wings today, you know.
And like, I had one story in there where it's like, oh, dear diary, today I was about to go into school, but you never guess what happened.
Sound like Tracy Beaker.
You'll never guess what happened.
And before I left the house, I pulled out a shoe and there was a dead mice in the shoe.
Wow. That sounds like a Nigerian movie.
And then I screamed, and then...
Oh, you didn't do any of that. There was none of that.
None of this happened.
Oh, my God.
And then I was like, then I went to school and I told all my friends. And it's just like, you know, just complete...
But reading it back, it must give you some type of feeling, though. Surely.
I just feel sorry for myself,
basically.
Have you watched Euphoria by any chance?
No, I haven't.
Oh, because there's one character where they are quite... I wouldn't even say they're quite introverted, but they maybe like take a step back at times and quite observant. Yeah. And throughout the series, it's like they play the role of the audience at times of like observing everything that's happening. And then there's a scene where the episode focuses on this character, and she basically says how like she dramatizes her life, or she sees it as like a production. So there's a little like skit thing that happens where scenes happening and they're like, okay, cut, and then you just see like the director come, like the whole like production crew and stuff.
That's sick.
Yeah, like breaking the fourth wall through this. So like she was like kind of see like a script, or she'll see like a situation happen with like her family, and she'll like write it down, and in the end she like dramatizes it into a school play. So would you say like maybe those diary entries maybe were like stepping stones for you getting into film? Or am I
just trying to escape?
Yeah, just escaping.
I think I was just escaping. I just wanted life to be more interesting and better for me, but it wasn't. So it was that's that.
It's very interesting. I think a lot of creative minds tend to have a similar, I wouldn't say starting point, but a lot of times it's always as a result of them trying to escape their own reality.
Always trying to break free from.
Yeah, or trying to create something more. Like in most people's situations, like, oh, I grew up poor. So I was drawing or doing things of like this lavish life, so on and so forth. I think what's interesting is how you how I guess you lend your style at this point because you kind of have a very recognizable style. Not to say that it's limiting,
No, it's not.
because I'm assuming that a lot of people don't get to see the full scope of who you are. But also, a lot of people come to basically lend and say, "Can you give us your style?" To
Oh yeah.
how do you feel about that?
I feel fine as long
Yeah?
as they're giving me the money. Then I don't mind.
I hear
That's the realest thing. I
that.
can't even lie. I hear you. They've got to pay the bills. I hear that.
I hear that.
It sounds like a good exchange.
Yeah,
kind of thing as well.
exactly. Why not? It comes so easy to me, so it's just like cool.
Yeah.
When it comes to like financially, yeah, how do you know your price and your value? 'Cause obviously in this, like, did you have like almost like other people you can speak to and have these conversations about, or is it just you're just on a
Figure it
bad
out
thing?
yourself.
I definitely had to figure it out myself. Even up to now, I'm still figuring it out myself. But actually, now I've got quite a lot of people I can go to, talk to, be open about, so that I'm in a much more confident position in terms of like I know what I'm worth. But I think I'll always sort of be like, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But starting out, it was more just feeling around. Like obviously, the first whole bunch of shoots just did it for free, and then the first one I got paid. I was offered $500. So I
Which
was
is
like
convert to what, £400?
It depends when
400 and something.
the flip,
At the time,
Yeah.
innit? Yeah, shoot.
yeah.
400 and something maybe.
Yeah.
Not actually sure.
Yeah.
And then that was sort of like, that sort of gave me a ballpark because I was like,
Right.
okay, someone's willing to offer me this much.
You should be
So
from there
then
up.
it should be, exactly,
Yeah.
kind of. But then doesn't mean I didn't do stuff lower around that time as well.
Yeah.
Like there would be times where something like literally all I got is £150. I'm like, cool, it'll be
make it
fun to
work.
do. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just sort of like playing around. But I think the more I work with money, the more I feel confident and get a gauge of what is expected with certain
Right,
prices.
Mm.
And then the more I talk to other people, because I've never been afraid to talk about money and like
Yeah.
disclose what I'm earning
Why-
or
why is
ask
that?
others. I have no idea. I
She's
just
making money. You know what I'm saying? You're making money. You can do more money.
I think it's just I think it comes back down to like the sort of just I want the truth. Do you know what I mean? So it's like if
Right.
telling people what I earn helps them tell me what they earn, then I'll
yeah.
disclose.
Yeah.
It's all good. So I think so it just more and more like as jobs come up, then people start to offer a bit more. Then I start hearing about concepts of like, oh, you know what they're offering you is actually the minimum of what they actually have. So then I'm like, okay, let me
Right.
play around with that. So then it's like
Mm.
go back, start negotiation. This is still with like small amounts of money. So maybe like
Yeah.
maybe they've offered me £500. So I'm like, oh, let me go and ask for 700, see what they say. Then we meet at 650. And then it's like, okay, I'm getting used to this. Let me jump like £500. I'll be like, no, I need 1,500, and then see where we land.
It's funny. I remember we were speaking one time, and you're like, "It's like a game."
Yeah.
It actually is. I feel
Yeah.
like Monopoly or something.
Yeah. And funny enough, in our last episode, we said that creators are manipulators.
I mean, she's already confirmed it with her story writing. Like you're talking about, you're talking about mice and shoes and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
feel like we are.
we.
So we.
I've never thought of it like that, to be fair. I think I can be if I want to be,
Yeah.
but I've never thought of creative in general.
So
Like,
natural
I
to
don't
you.
know.
It's just like, oh, you know, it just comes to me naturally.
I'm like, because I think I don't know, say study humans. Because I like look at human behavior so much. I feel like I know what buttons to press if I want to get stuff. I know what to say to get someone to react in a certain way. Even outside of business, just generally, I just know how to do it. But I choose not to because I like to respect people.
Right.
I think respect is key.
That was kind of scary. I can't even lie. So she said, I can get it, but I don't want to.
No, but
Just like-
it is true though.
No, definitely.
There's certain things we can do
Yeah.
or say
Yeah.
that we can get our thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Which is kind of important in this. If we're being very honest, stuff like this is important in the industry that we're in because a lot of people do get finessed
Yes.
for the sake of, oh my gosh, there's this gig, and it'll be like, it's like the exposure thing of, oh yeah, we'll work on this thing, you'll get paid in exposure.
Yeah.
And for some people, that's enough for them. But then we do need to know how to like operate in this environment, because if you're not careful, people will take you for idiot,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely need a balance. Like you just need to be in it to learn it. Like I think it's just get into it. But I think one other thing as well that I always tell like up and coming creatives is that, or just anyone that's self-employed, like the more money you're given is the more responsibility you have.
Yes.
So make sure if you want to be asking for big money and you know that you're going to get it if you ask for it, make sure you actually do have the skills, you have like the back experience so that you will not get this wrong. Because if you do, then you've got that on your back. Yeah, exactly.
Because some people can offer it very easily.
Oh
It's not even gonna,
like
like,
they won't even blink.
Yep. They'll be like, 50K? Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Amen.
And I think another thing to do with worth is that if, experience, I think has like a lot to do with how you calculate your worth. Like as much as you might be brilliant and you've only just started out, maybe you've got a minimum experience, but you're really, really good. I feel like, just from my own experience anyway, like even when I think I've had such great experience, 1 year down the line, I look back and I'm like, it's nothing compared to what I've got now. And then every single time, every year, I reflect and I'm like, nothing compared to what I've got now. So I think even if you feel like you've got it, if you haven't been in it that long, your worth might not be as high because, trust me, as the years goes on, as you're doing more and more and more, like you'll understand why. Like there's just so many tiny little details that you need to notice that make you worth more than somebody who's just started. So there's something just to be real with yourself about. And you might actually look at yourself and be like, actually, no, for other reasons, maybe I am worth more, whatever. That's fine, but something to consider.
That makes sense. I think what about when you're doing your work, do you kind of attach yourself to it to the point where you're like, okay, you know what, this is my favorite project so far, or you're always like, this is just work, I do it, I'm out?
It's just work. Like I will really make sure that it's like as good as I can possibly get. But because clients always, I don't know, their taste is strange.
We know.
I love the honesty.
Yeah.
Because it's.
We know.
Because I feel like these are things that we all of us know, but we don't really say all the time like that.
Why do people ask us for help and they don't trust our knowledge?
Yeah.
I mean,
like what?
Money.
Right.
Because sometimes when someone comes with the money, perhaps they assume that because I'm paying you, you have to do exactly what I do. But then I guess they conflate the fact that they come for your expertise.
You limit what you can receive.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When you give people like, oh, look, I'm giving you this, I trust what you're going to do, deliver it kind of thing. I prefer that rather than do this. What's the point?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think even in the last episode, we spoke about how sometimes the good clients, which might be a client where we'll ask you, what do you think I need? This is the idea I have. Do you think I should add? Should I take more? Should I do this? And then the clients who come with a very rigid idea of what they want. And there's no bending. If you bend, you break kind of thing. Yeah. So I guess, I'm sure you've probably met some horror stories.
Yeah.
Maybe not. You might be blessed.
I'm definitely blessed, but I definitely I'm just flexible. I'm just like, listen, you tell me what you want. I'm going to tell you the best way you can possibly do it. If you agree, then cool. If you disagree, then cool. Like, I'll just make this new version as best as we can possibly get. Do you know what I mean? It's like every time they're adamant on changing something, like, I'll push back on stuff and be like, this is really, I feel like this is so important that we do it this way, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
If they completely are like, no, we have to do X, Y, and Z, I'm like, cool, fine. Like, you know what I mean? It's not personal. So it's like, I'll just make sure that this new idea is just brilliant.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not personal, but we take it personally because
it's
our work.
Yeah.
So it's interesting hearing how you navigate that, because I know for a lot of people that's hard.
Yeah, to the point where people don't even put their work out because then they don't want the name to be attached to it. They're like,
literally. I know I do that as well.
Have you got a few of those?
Yeah.
There we go.
There's a whole bunch of stuff I have not shared. Just do it for the money. There's
hear it.
This actually is so real, because there's so much work you do and just like that's never seen.
We're talking about it before, innit? We're saying like we've got a catalogue of stuff we haven't released yet because we're like, this was just a business transaction. Let's be honest.
Right.
So it was like,
exactly. But I think it's good to have boundaries though. Like for me, nowadays, I'm like, I know what my minimum is that I want to be paid. If you're offering any lower than that, then the only reason I do it is maybe I really rate what you guys are doing. And then on top of that, I always have the boundary of like, if the idea you're putting forward to me doesn't excite me that much, then you have to do it my way. Otherwise, I'm not doing it. And I'm not compromising. I just make that really clear before we've started the thing.
Yeah.
That it's like, this is the idea I want to do. If you're into it, we're going to do it. And I don't want any feedback. We're just going to do it.
I don't want to hear no. You get what you get.
I said no feedback.
Said niche.
We've got some revisions. No. That's not what we signed.
Pim. Just keep Pim.
So we've got some.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just as
Wow.
simple as that. But actually, all of them have all been really happy with what they've received.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Of course.
worked.
Come on.
You know what's nuts about your work here? I feel like, especially when it comes to musicians, the musicians that you worked with are all my favorites, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, they love
Like,
you.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
one of my favorite pieces of work you done was Little Sims.
Mm.
Sometimes I might be
Yeah.
introvert. Like, how did you find that process?
That was really beautiful. She was amazing to work
Yeah.
with. Like, I think what was great about her and like all the musicians I've worked with is that when they've come with the creative, I personally relate to it.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
that's really helpful, and I love that when it comes to album artwork because it is. I love musicians who, when with their artwork, they actually genuinely want it to be a reflection of themselves. So then it's like, and also I won't work on the album artwork unless I connect with the music.
Right.
So
So did you listen to the project beforehand?
yeah. So first of all, when she was like Little Sims, I hadn't heard a thing. I was like, yes, please, like I rate her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I was like, still, I need to hear the music in order
Yeah.
to really know what we're doing.
See, Woman, yeah.
Mm,
That was the first single to come out now from the album.
Not introvert.
introvert.
Yeah, it
Oh, yeah, was he
Yeah.
introvert?
That came
Yeah,
out like a
yeah,
while
yeah,
back.
yeah,
yeah.
But
That
that,
before the album dropped.
Woman's an anthem, is an anthem,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, Women's the second one to come out.
Yeah, that was an anthem, fam.
That is
My
brilliant.
goodness.
I was gonna ask about like how you manage like me and my questions, yeah. But what you said about relating with the artist,
Mm.
I feel like you can see it in the work that you do, and especially because like I feel like you meet the artist or you work with the artist at such like pivotal times.
Yeah.
So with Little Sims, that was this album was like her breakthrough into the mainstream with like Scribs.
Yeah.
That was like his debut
Yeah.
after like
Scripps is
producing.
thing, my
Like
goodness.
great
Cold.
project, and then with
So many mood boards.
Fam,
Every single time someone sends something like,
yeah.
Nwaka's always references, fam.
yeah,
You're always a
yeah.
reference, you know.
Honestly, like same with Coffee as well,
Yeah,
going
yeah,
from like
yeah, yeah.
EPs to now like launching her debut, and then Koji Radical.
Koji's thing.
Like
yeah, fam.
that cover,
Yeah.
even like we were like, was in the group chat I think when we noticed like the singles that he dropped.
Yeah,
were,
basically
like,
a part of
with
the
a
album.
zoom
Yeah.
We
out
thought
of
just
the
like,
actual
this is
album.
nuts.
Yeah.
You're like, no, this is insane.
Nuts.
So like, but I think with all of those projects, they seem quite personal. It came at like the right
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
So like, was there intention about how to like certain themes that you wanted in the covers? And then when you look at all of them, there's quite a similarity like throughout all of them. Was that intentional too, or is it just because it's you and it's a part of you in each thing?
I think so the first question I'd say there's not necessarily anything that I want to project onto it. It's more like for me, I think authenticity just means so much to me. Once again, going back to truth, like
Yeah.
I really want to know who the artist is, where they're coming from, why this cover means so much to them. That it means so much to them because if they couldn't care less about the cover, then you know what.
Yeah.
So you know, like going back to Little Sims, like we had the call beforehand where she just sort of talked to me through where she was coming from and like everything that she was saying, like her life experiences, the things that she was letting out on that album, where she's like the growth that she's made and stuff. I was like, I relate to every last word. It literally sounds like I'm speaking when I'm listening to her. So I was like, knowing that, it's like there's nothing I need to project onto this because everything she's trying to
It's also
project
aligned.
is already
Yeah.
aligned. So it's just about like making sure that we were really on the same page, and like they did send me like a brief of like visuals and stuff, and it was cool, and I was just like, okay, great. And then after that call with Sims, I was like, and then I heard the album, and I was like, okay, this brief is cool, but we need to elevate it, like because the music is on a next level. Sims's energy is on a next level, so
It was
like,
like-
this
I was-
cover needs to be on the next
I was
level.
talking to a thing. Can I mention man's name on the pod?
Do I need to bleep
Wait,
someone's name?
oh, as in
Tough.
Oh yeah,
Right.
I can mention man's name on the pod.
yeah.
I was talking to
This
to
make it
Tough,
sound
yeah.
like some
No,
secret, like-
no, you never know,
Yeah,
bro.
well,
You never know.
Be considerate, be
Nah,
considerate.
here,
Yeah, man. I was on Tough, and we're literally saying how like it sounds like a movie.
Yeah. It's so
Yeah,
cinematic.
yeah.
Like literally,
Yeah.
I agree.
when you put it on, you're like, what? I've seen a new world. Basically,
Yeah.
that's how it sounded. Crazy album.
It's one of our favorites of like
Oh.
last year.
Yeah.
We had an
Yeah, we had an
about it.
episode,
We had a whole
like,
episode about it,
because
yeah.
it was around the same time that Drake and Kanye West dropped their project,
Yeah.
and we were saying like, no, that was the best project
Yes.
out of the
Oh
three.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
Donda
You forgot about
CLB.
that. You
Yeah.
Forgot about him, yeah.
Yeah, so that's time when it was Donda vs CLB, and then she dropped her thing,
Mm.
and everyone basically was like, I don't know, it was like we were all disappointed with
Definitely.
both albums.
Especially
Yeah.
the art direction.
Yeah.
It just, I think with the Kanye one, it was a bit like, okay,
I guess,
it's a whole thing.
yeah.
But with so when that came in, it just kind of like,
It's crazy because
yeah.
and not like we do like almost like creative competitions, but it's like you obviously had the best piece of art.
You won. This is the
100%.
this
And
is
we're-
the award.
We're talking
Yeah.
about like Drake and Kanye West, and you had the best. Like,
yeah, the whole rollout visually.
Like-
like,
Yeah.
I remember going like to my like underground station, and I
oh,
saw it,
yeah,
and I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"This is so sick."
Nuts.
To like the merch, like I have the hoodie like at
Yeah.
home and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Like,
that's nice.
no, for real.
Fair.
Like I just love like that's one of my favorite artists like era campaign
I
rollout
agree.
things.
100%.
Because yeah, it just came with the right time. It really like just I think I'm really fumbling at the mouth. I actually don't know what to say, but basically it was incredible.
Wow.
Young
Say-
Dada
say-
Boss.
say-
It just came at the right
the
time, and
spirit.
also with with what Little Sims I guess wanted to
Achieve.
achieve
Yeah.
with this project. The visuals just like married with that so well.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God, this
How does that make you feel?
yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel gassed?
Yeah,
when
tell
you
us
hear
tell us
this?
now.
Like,
Yes.
Do I feel gassed? I think I feel gassed on the 24/7.
Oh, come on.
No, but the thing is, you have like even like your Nike work as well, for example. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
That-
the Sherry Silver pit is Sherry Silver, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
with the kick. With,
Yeah.
Sick.
Oh, thank you.
oh,
Yeah.
and in terms of like limitations, so I remember you did a campaign with Marcus Rashford, for example, when I was shot on an iPhone.
Yeah.
Like, how was that for you in terms of like, do you incorporate like using like almost like limited technology to use your work? Like, how does that work for yourself?
It was cool. I think because I never really properly trained to be like a photographer or anything. So I think what I shoot on doesn't matter so much. Like I do have my ideals, like
Yeah.
but I could, it's all the same. Like my style is mainly through like the color, the styling, the set, the angles. It's which you can do with any camera. So it didn't feel too limited to be on a phone. What was limiting though was just like the time. So we only had 30 minutes to
30
shoot.
minutes.
Right.
to
Sorry,
shoot
what?
3 outfits.
Oh wow.
Like 10
Yeah.
minutes.
So 10 minutes you change.
Yeah.
Even if that.
Yeah, if that. Yeah. So that
Wow.
was the limiting element.
And that's time.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that.
That's
Everything
iconic.
else
That's
was
funny.
cool.
Limited time and a night.
The magazine's called Time.
And there's no time.
None of that.
There's
Yeah.
no time.
I know that laptop was doing because you have to edit. Oh, what?
That's amazing.
30 minutes is ridiculous though. I can't even lie. That's not even.
Yeah.
But I
no.
get it though, because sometimes I guess that when someone is of that caliber and they're moving through the day,
Yeah, he's very sought after, and then on
Mm,
top of that, he just come home from training.
right.
And then
Right.
it was the day after a massive match, which they won, but he got
England
injured.
won.
No.
Or Man U.
England won.
Come on. You know how that went, man.
Come on now.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
That's so insensitive.
He was wearing the England top, innit?
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
Wait. Sorry. Clarify. May I say it again? Last what you said. Who won?
Oh no, they just won a match the day before.
Who?
Manchester.
Oh, that man. Oh, yeah. I call them man
It's
Reds.
because he's a hater. That's why. Yeah.
I support West Ham United.
Oh, we don't want to know.
Oh,
Oh my.
None of that free poem on the pod, please.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Oh, it's
guys.
cool, it's cool, it's
Sorry.
cool.
But okay, so they just won.
Yeah,
The match,
literally
yeah.
the day before, but he got injured during that.
Oh.
So then the following day,
Okay, I got
he
you.
was like training in the morning, then came to the shoot, had a nap, woke up, and then straight onto set. So his hair wasn't even brushed.
Oh, bless. What Photoshop?
Yeah.
It's
That's
a
it.
Photoshop
I had to
fix
give him a
that.
little trim, like
Okay,
the
okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Photoshops.
Wait, so would you call
He
yourself?
looks tired still.
We, no, you can see it now.
Nah, pretty. My man looks tired.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh, I thought it was a passionate look of like, wow.
his
I'm
eyes,
here.
his eyes are man's just walking.
Nah, don't do that.
No, it's
Would,
all
would,
good,
would you
though.
consider yourself,
I
because
love it,
obviously
man.
we just spoke about like you, I guess, editing to the fine details like that with design stuff. Would you consider yourself a designer or graphic designer, to be more specific, or a director or a photographer or a sound engineer?
All of
I
the
think I'm
above?
just a visual artist, I'd say.
Mm.
I wouldn't say
Okay.
I'm a...
Oh my God.
I'd say-
You and Mac, I feel like
Yeah.
similar.
Mm.
I think I can direct sound, but I wouldn't really put myself in the category of anything to do with
Right.
sound just because I know what goes into it. So I'm just like...
But it sounds like you know what you want.
Yes,
though.
exactly. I know how it should make me feel. And
Mm.
as long as it makes me feel the
Mm.
right way, then it doesn't matter too much how they've gone about it. So
Right. how did you find like the journey from being like a one woman? Sorry, wow, my internal bias.
This is how we get cancelled.
Damn,
Exactly how we get cancelled.
rephrase.
This is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Nah,
My
man.
bad, guys. So, being a one woman team, because I know in your earlier films you did the editing, you did the filming, and then maybe some of the sound.
No, I've
Not
never
the sound
done
as
any
much.
design,
Okay.
no.
And then obviously now when you're working with teams, like for example the Simbi stuff, where there was a creative director or like also someone who did the graphic design, let's say.
Yeah.
So how did you find that transition from like being solo to working with teams and like making that work?
Fantastic. Like it just really helps to just have people. And I think where I'm quite picky and open at the same time, it's like a nice balance of like I just find the people I want to work with and we do it. And then it's like where I do have to collaborate with other people I don't know. I've actually been blessed that they've been good people. Where they haven't been good people, it's been on projects that I don't care too much for.
Okay.
So everything's sort of aligned quite nicely actually. It's been a good. Like I just love like just being able to focus on my one thing
Right,
rather
and
than having to
then-
do everything. It helps a lot. And then every now and again, people are like, "Oh, we really want to get your opinion on blah blah blah," and I'm like, I would really like to just leave this one to the expert. Like, do you know what I mean? Like sometimes I get told like, "Oh, what font should we use for the cover?" I'm like,
Nothing to do.
there's somebody
Yeah.
whose job
Right,
is to
yeah,
that's
figure
amazing,
out what
yeah.
that is.
Shout
So
out to
like,
the designers.
do you know
Come
what I
on.
mean? So let's just leave it to them. They know what they're doing, and it always works out best. So.
So then I've got a question. After all these amazing feats, do you feel like your work is recognized in terms of like the comparison of you as an individual worker and then your work combined together? Do you feel like people are like, yeah, she's amazing, and everyone is hailing you on the streets like, you know, David, oh, you know, fan love and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Do you feel like that happens with you?
I mean, maybe I don't know, because I don't have my face out there. I don't know.
Right.
Like people don't come up to me and say stuff because
What,
they
give
don't
me
know who I am.
autograph?
But like yeah, I guess so.
You feel like you get the recognition that you deserve?
Yeah, I don't know what I deserve. Like
Oh, that was kind of yeah.
I think I don't know. So what I'm about to say is like totally open for dispute. But like I think what I get is what I deserve. So like it's just because it's like I work really really hard. I put myself out there. I'm transparent. I'm honest. Here you go. If you respond, you respond. If you don't, you don't. And like whatever that is, just it's natural. It happens. Obviously, there is things like algorithms and whatnot. But
Yeah.
you know, if Instagram wasn't there in the first place, then half the people that know about me probably wouldn't know about me anyway. So it's just like I don't linger too much on what I deserve, basically.
Right.
As long as I'm happy and I'm making the money, then I don't care.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting perspective, like, because I think, especially in today's world, especially in like the creative space,
Yeah.
a lot of people think about what they should get from in terms of like
Yeah, the work becomes a bit not
credit
political, but
or
it becomes a statement
it becomes a statement
to
or like
what they should be.
I deserve X. Like people should know that I'm the person behind the work, and I guess sometimes it's because in certain areas there's underrepresentation. In other areas, maybe credit is taken, or like there's more credit put on other things than some other things. So yeah, it's interesting to hear. I think it's very refreshing to hear as well, actually, because it sounds like you're more focused on the work rather than the things that come with the work.
Yeah, and I think also I'm just one person as well. So like in terms of like we were just talking about earlier about like the amount of jobs I can handle, it's like I get paid well for my jobs. So it's like there's only so many I can do. So it's not like I deserve more, so therefore I should be getting more jobs. What will I be doing with all these extra jobs?
Yeah.
I don't have time to do all the ones I'm
Right.
being offered at the moment. Do you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
love the ones I'm being offered at the moment. So it's not even like I'm lacking there. So I feel fulfilled, and so therefore I feel like it's okay.
That's good. I was gonna say, this reminds me of something quickly. I was gonna say before you. It's almost like, you know, because we've spoken about it on the pod where there was a time that when we were trying to figure out a pathway in design and like trying to get our gigs and that kind of thing, that we were like almost doing all that we could in almost to like get noticed so that we can get the jobs.
Yeah.
But then when we got the jobs or we started working full time or like in industry, it was almost like we didn't feel the need to have to like do all of that anymore. So I guess when I think of like the wider creative like space and like the people in it, maybe because there's quite a few people that may not feel like they've don't want to say
Got to that
arrived,
point,
or
yeah.
got to that point
Mhm,
yet,
mhm.
that's why there may be like a stronger need for I need to be credited on this or appreciation for this. So
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I think we've spoken about it, but it's very interesting that you're bringing this perspective because I think a lot of the time creatives have this opinion of themselves as to what obviously like they deserve or what they represent. Hence why I asked you earlier, what do you want to say with your work? Just because I think depending on what you want to say with your work, perhaps it will give you a different perspective as to what you deserve or what should come back. So the monetary aspect, I think that's obviously very important because people need to live. It's tight out here. I think
Cost
that's
of
very
living.
important. Personally, I feel like you deserve much more recognition.
agreed.
Just because work aside, the work ethic, as well as the quality, because I think quantity itself can sometimes diminish quality of work. And I think you're very selective in that process, hence why people want your work so much. And I'm assuming you get emails that you say no to, like we said earlier. So with that's why I feel like you deserve more recognition. I'm not saying that, oh, you should suddenly go and then everybody should be hailing you, even if you suddenly stop. But I personally do believe that you, and a lot of other creatives, of course, but since you're here, specifically you deserve more accreditation for your work. But the thing that becomes, I guess, contended with is if you want it. Because, like you said, you've decided to personally not put your face out there. And I think there's a lot of artists who do that. An example outside of, I guess, the field of design and maybe film is probably Jay Paul, for example, who's a producer. And he literally got his work leaked out. His first project leaked out. I think he was signed to, it blanks me now, I think it was Ninja Tune or something. And his work leaked out and he was very distraught because that was like his whole life work leading up to blah, blah. So he just vanished.
Because of the disappointment.
He just vanished. He stopped making music. He just vanished.
Oh, wow.
Right? And I think because that wasn't the intention for his work. His work wasn't for, I'm trying to be the biggest artist. Because if that was the case, that would have been the perfect time. Because the lead and it became like a cult classic. Ended up bringing people like James Blake. And creating people like that. Do you get what I'm saying? FK Twigs production, all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So obviously, apart from obviously the Kate Bush,
Yeah.
but stuff like that. So I think when things like that happen for creatives anyway, it makes them feel like, okay, that wasn't the intention for the work, and therefore I abandon everything. But obviously, in your case, you're saying that isn't your intention to get the recognition. But I don't think that just because of that you shouldn't get the recognition because you don't want it. Do you get what I'm saying? Especially if outside of yourself, everybody feels like you should. Hence, I guess why the conversation that happened, the conversation about the award systems and stuff made me feel some type of way because I feel like there are a lot of people who deserve awards. I guess depending on what kind of body is awarding it, that's when it becomes a whole situation. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like you definitely deserve, awards.
Okay.
Of some sort.
And on that note, go to guapgala.com and vote Nwaka right now.
Do that.
Run that up, man.
Yeah.
Don't play games.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious though, because so when you saw our post, that we got nominated for, fake nominated.
We should have got nominated, but obviously, you know what I'm saying.
Across the year, and you realize it was fake. What was going through your head?
Well, first
Like,
of
man,
all, when
liars.
you guys
Bloody liars.
when you guys posted it, I was like, immediately went onto GUAP Gala. I was like, I don't recall seeing these guys.
Y'all liars.
So
we
scrolled
reached
down.
the criteria, but we weren't selected.
And the place where you guys had positioned yourself was empty and blank. I was like, was there a glitch? Like,
There was. Hey, go up, fix it, please.
And then when you said that it was joking, I was like, these guys are smart. Like, I rated it, to be fair. I thought it was good. And I liked the way it's opened the conversation. And even the whole, podcast show as well on that topic, I thought was really sick the way you guys went into it and gave the perspective, even though I disagreed. But I thought it was I've never heard that perspective before, so I thought, it was sick. I rated it, to be fair.
What part did you disagree with? Just for context. And obviously, you don't have to be overly candid, but you love the truth. So, feel free, I'm saying.
It's important though to have the discussions. I don't like being echo
agree.
chambers where everyone agrees with the same thing. I need to hear the different perspectives. So,
The things I disagreed with was the whole thing about like supporting the community. So I was like, with the it's obviously paraphrasing, but like you guys said something along the lines of like how, you know, they sort of suggest that they're, you know, gonna be helping the community with what they're doing or whatnot,
Right.
but then they do it, but then they, you know, they do things like this where it's like it's not actually helping the community as much, which I disagreed with, because I was like, from first eye experience, I've seen the way that they have been helping the community. So I'm like, it doesn't really make sense. And it's like, and then with something like the GUAP Gala, for example, like typical award shows and stuff like that, I would never be nominated for something like that. So the fact that I was like already, to me, is a sign that they are trying to think about the community. And some of the other people that I've put forward there, like, didn't recognize a whole bunch of names. But when I Googled them, like, they got minimal followers, but what they were doing was
the work
brilliant.
is amazing,
So I was like, I'm struggling to see what you guys were getting at, because I was like, how vast do you want this to be? Because then there's also only so many people that you're going to put up for nomination as well. And then it's like, if you make things too many people involved, then, you know,
it waters down the
it waters down the things. It's not as exciting. And then also the reason why these people are even at a certain level, like in terms of the ones that are really popular that are on there, is like, to achieve the fact that they're popular is an achievement in itself.
100%.
So I was just like, they should be on there. They should be celebrated, the fact that they've got into this level of clout, this level of support and influence. Is just like, you know, you should be clapping our hands, because that's sick that they've managed to break through all the boundaries and get to that point. So that's basically what I was thinking.
I think so funny enough, when they first announced they're doing the GUAP Gala, it was a thing where the caption read, comment who you want to get nominated. So obviously everyone's in the mindset, and you can see like loads of artists getting mentioned, or loads of designers, whatever, getting mentioned. And so I think from that's the mindset we were coming in with. I think when we saw that they already decided who they had nominated, we're like, huh? Do you know what I mean? So if we knew it was like that, then that's different. But I think it was just the way it was communicated. I think it may have caused. And to be fair, me personally, I was more talking about the podcast category. But I hear you in the saying that they would even get nominated for other award shows. So it does make sense. But I think even on the pod, I was saying that next year it would be nice to see. I was basically saying that maybe they should have like a thing where
a sixth spot.
They nominate somebody, they nominate their people, but at least get like a public vote where they have a committee where they discuss, should this person actually be nominated? Because the thing is, I've seen many times where people just put any person, and the work they're even producing is not even making sense to be there. But if you have a committee that actually says, okay, let's bring in this person, we haven't seen them before actually, but I like what they're doing. There's a lot of hidden people that are doing amazing stuff. And I feel like for us as a podcast, I feel like there's, not even us, even if us didn't get nominated, I think there's other podcasts that are doing a mad thing.
100%.
But they weren't on that. But I get it, there's obviously a limit in terms of how many people can be put on, but I think it was more so the direction that we thought they were going in, they went in a completely different way. Do you get what I mean?
I sort of get it, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm sort of like, I feel like the you know, there's people that are doing really, really well that maybe aren't getting as much recognition or whatnot, but it's just sort of like, I think part of why you're being nominated is because you've got the clear recognition of other people. So it's not simply just that, like, you know, people at GUAP rate these people. It's like they're seeing that other people also rating these people. So that's why they're being picked. So I feel like if it's like, you know, you're brilliant at what you do, but, you know, you've kind of got nobody that much behind you or whatnot, then there's certain things and stages that you can go through in terms of, like, you know, getting yourself out there or working with certain people or getting yourself known in certain environments. And then when you get to that point, then you'd be nominated, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think my only qualms was that I don't agree with awards in general, not necessarily the GUAP Gala award, that specific one. I think my thing was that most award bodies tend to be very limiting, and what happens is that people assume that automatically, if I'm not on that list, then my work is invalidated, which obviously that isn't the case, because with or without the award, your work is still your work. You know what I'm saying? Hence why I was more for you know, recognition as opposed to awards, because people can get recognized and you can get recognized every 2 months, every 3 months, whatever. Like maybe, I don't know. It's funny, but for example, Beyonce's birthday thing on her website, where she just says happy birthday to people.
No.
Have you
I
seen
haven't
it?
seen that. No.
So she just says happy birthday to people she knows or people she loves or people she admires,
Okay.
and you just post a baby picture and saying happy birthday. Let's say, I don't know, happy birthday Nwaka, for example. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's just recognition. Obviously, it's a birthday thing, so that's different. But I think from that perspective, it makes it easier. And I think one other thing that I was a bit, I guess, maybe pushed back was that when it comes to these award bodies, sometimes they're very, very vague. They're not very specific. A good example of a more specific one might be, let's say, DNAD, where you actively apply, bring a piece of work that is to a particular brief for a year or something. So when those kind of things happen, what happens is that it creates, I wouldn't say an even playing field, but definitely a more fair playing field where everybody can bring their own, I guess
everyone can kind of be considered.
Yeah, everyone can be, because anyone can apply.
Even though,
you know what I'm saying?
I would say that even though there's even limitations with that, but in that instance, yeah, like, because I've done like a voting thing with them like in the past, and you literally get like a certain amount of applicants. So I think there's loads of judges, and it's like split across like loads of different people, and then you kind of like rank your top 3, and then from there they kind of are able to generate like a list of winners basically. But because of the awarding body, the award that you get, they do pencil. So like yellow pencil is like a gold, a black pencil is like a platinum, like top of the top. Then you have like a graphite pencil, wood pencil, white pencil for like other things. But like that is like a marker of great work that I guess within the industry, loads of people can be like, oh wow, this person's won a pencil. Then
you can go and look at the files of what they've done and so on and so forth.
And most like agencies would be like, oh yeah, like work with us. Like the agency I used to work for, 2 people that came on placement, I think they won like a black pencil, the only black pencil I think maybe, 2 yellows, like basically they put like all their work through and a lot of it like banged, and I was like, oh my god, got this. So there's a bit of like clout, and then that recognition helps with jobs and stuff, which I know like with like the GUAP Gala, for example, this will be a great way to almost like
have people
more
that
eyes, other eyes can see and be like, okay, cool, they've been like awarded or like nominated from this body, so that they must be like really, really great to work with. I know for me, I think it's more, the issue I had was just more like how these things become, I don't say more inclusive, because I guess awards are kind of quite exclusive to some degree, but like how do we make sure that within our community we accommodate a variety, all to say like the work is of a certain standard. But I think because even with like the like people knowing people and that kind of thing, you know how some, like for the artists that you mentioned, for example, that led like to inspiring quite a few other people, you do sometimes have those people that might even inspire others, but just people don't know about them at all. It's almost like the people within that industry know who they are, but it's almost like a hidden secret. Like if you're not part of like this group, you're not going to know who that person is, but they could be doing quite great stuff, but people might not know. Like, so sometimes like there's certain accounts that, or people that you may even follow, we may all even follow, that their following is really small, but they're responsible for some of like the most incredible things that like we will see. We just don't know the names that their names attached to it and stuff. So I know for me, it was just more like I wish it was more, it had more maybe a variety in some categories more than others, because some categories I was like, yeah, like,
it makes sense.
Makes sense.
Of course.
But then I guess because we're a podcast, of course we're gonna like look at that space more. But like also knowing so many others that are responsible for so many great important conversations, like I'll shout out like probably because I know them as well, so that's probably part of the issue as well. But Don't Alert the Sands, I know like when with music, when they like talk about certain topics or themes, they'll try and bring people in to like break it down.
What's the name of that podcast?
Don't Alert the Stands.
Don't Alert the Stands.
Don't Alert the Stands.
Yeah. So you know like stand culture and stuff. Yeah,
okay, got you.
But like, yeah, it's like a play on like because we're like, it's like a music critique kind of thing. And like I know, for example, when like the Kendrick Auntie Diaries song like dropped to the album, they brought in other people to kind of like come in with a certain critique, and they really want to open up the space to like LGBT people to like have that conversation. Yeah. So I felt like people like that are doing like such great work, but maybe not a lot of people or a wider group of people may know about podcasts like that. Yeah. Or even like, I know some will probably argue like, what's this podcast with like straws?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Kaleshi.
Yeah.
A podcast like that, for example, and I know that gets listened to a lot, but like
That was not.
that-
Yeah.
So it's just stuff like that. But
one thing I will say though, when they first announced it, I was mad
oh,
excited.
everybody was gassed.
Because
I was ready.
I think if anything, there is grace.
My best suit.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
There's always going to be criticism.
True.
Even in the comments, I was
course,
seeing
yeah.
there's no Asian people. I was like, there's always going to be something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I think when I first saw it, I was just like, actually, no, we need this.
Yeah.
Because really and truly, we don't have any. I mean, closest like GRM.
There is
awards.
GRM, and then there is.
Was it Gala, I think.
Yeah.
But that's more so for music. This is
Yeah.
actually
Exactly.
a
This is for
creative, like,
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah,
So
when
I
I
think,
seen
yeah.
best dancer of the year, I was thinking, wow.
Yeah, like,
that's
it's
really
quite
wide,
cool.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think if anything, like these discussions are important because if anything, they're doing an amazing job. It's just more.
It is
so
the
just
first
like,
one as well.
It's their first one,
Yeah.
and eventually, after years, like it's gonna get better and better. The committee's gonna make sharper and sharper decisions and stuff
Yeah.
like huge.
Yeah.
So it's only gonna get better from here. To
Yeah,
be honest,
100%.
so
I mean, big up
yeah.
GUAP because like they have done bits and like
they can't lie. In my meetings, they're some of the competitors, and to think that they're competing with my company.
That's good. Yeah.
How dare they?
No, but it's proper.
no, it's amazing.
It's proper,
I mean, and what the stuff that they've done, the growth and the journey as well to get to this
Yeah.
point, incredible.
Yeah.
So we'll give you guys your flowers for sure because
Yeah, take some flowers. What happened?
I was gonna say put in the
so
sound
done.
effects, but
Oh, it's too late now. But,
I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say that. Yeah, I definitely agree with what you guys are saying. I think, yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens in the next few years. But also, yeah, like I'm harsh on everyone in terms of like critiquing because I think as a black community, as a black community,
right.
we don't really get a lot of people who like to critique because
Come on,
we
Ken.
think that because
Yeah.
it's black it has to pass, and I think I'm not for that. I believe that we have to be able to critique in a very insulated way so that we can get better as a community.
100%.
As opposed to just trying to, because I think we spoke about this in the episode before about that whole black gaze. That sometimes we work with the intention to say we're doing this as a counterpart to what the whites are doing or what the Asian community are doing, and so on and so forth. When we should be doing something that helps us. Period. And that shouldn't be a thing where it's like it's only it's only a response to something. We should do it because it's needed, not as a
It
response.
shouldn't be reactive.
Yeah,
It
like
should
the white people are getting the award. We don't get it. It's like that's reactive as opposed to saying we need to just be recognized generally.
just because.
Do you get what I'm saying? Because we do very great work. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important for sure. Yeah.
Facts. Bit of a random one.
Mhm.
What are you listening to right now, music wise?
Gosh, I hate that question.
You know what? I think
Next question.
No, we're staying
I
there.
feel like I remember you saying this at Burns' shoot for
Yeah.
Kitso.
Yeah.
Oh,
Come on.
you know, plug.
Day by
Yeah.
day.
Collaboration
For free.
Nwaka
Bro, we're
and
not charging
Burns,
him.
with
I'm done.
Kitso Club. But I remember. I think maybe it was when you were playing music and you're like, I remember you saying something along the lines of you don't really listen to much music, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is facts. This will sound weird, but I really love silence.
That's kind of scary. You just go into a room and she's just sitting there like in the darkness, like.
That's
Yeah. Oh my god! Is that how the ideas come here?
My days.
You know how funny that is because her work is so bright and like vibrant.
Yeah.
Do you
And
know
then-
what's
but
even
obviously 'cause
worse?
that's in your
though?
mind,
Do you know
or
what's
no?
even worse? Is that I'll also be talking to myself out loud.
Jesus.
No, you know what?
We're one of them, man.
I hear it. I
I
do.
should have done that. She's like twitching. You know how funny that is? There's someone like, get out of my room. She's like talking to yourself.
I even crossed the road.
Yeah, no. Sometimes when I'm walking down the street, I put in my headphones,
Just
so
so
it
you
looks
can-
like I'm on a call, but I'll just be talking out loud to
Okay.
myself.
True,
Yeah, I just love. Like, I have such brilliant conversations. Yeah.
What, as in wait.
What do you talk about?
Anything like
So what are we having today? Like for dinner?
Yeah, I could talk about something as simple as like how I'm cooking something, what ingredients I want to put in, or I could be talking about something deeper about like how I want to manage my client, or I could be talking about like I'll be reflecting on the Sunday service. Literally just I could be even complimenting somebody like
In your head?
no, like
Out
out
loud.
loud.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like,
I'll be
she's
talking
really pretty, and then just walk away, but she can't hear you.
No, like let's say I saw somebody earlier say, I'd be like, oh, I really liked, like the way this person said X, Y, and Z, and then I might be like, why did I really like I love asking myself questions. Why did I really like that? I liked it because it made me realize that maybe I'm lacking in this way or blah, blah, blah. Let me dissect that. Blah, blah. But it's talking out loud helps me keep track of my thoughts. If I try and think of that in my head, then it's like a trillion other thoughts just barge in and I don't actually get anywhere. Speak it out loud, everything just flows. I dissect. It's very interesting.
Do you do like voice note diaries?
No.
Okay, fair
So
enough.
no music, no recording, nothing.
I do listen to music sometimes. I'm sort of like the kind of person where it's like I find the track I really like and just have it on repeat for a bit.
Hey,
What was the last song? What was the last song you had on repeat?
It's a Kanye West, Stronger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go back.
Mhm.
That one I was working out, so that was really
Right.
Okay,
right,
fair.
right.
Yeah.
I get that.
I mean, that's a very good workout.
That
song,
makes
to be
sense.
fair.
Yeah.
That's interesting. They don't listen to music though. You work with a lot of.
I mean, I
musicians.
do
Yeah.
listen to music, but just not that much. And then also another massive thing why I love silence so much is that I've got synesthesia. You guys got it?
Ah,
Okay.
Please
So
explain.
synesthesia is basically when your senses are a bit mixed up. So
Okay.
like when I hear a sound, I don't simply hear it. I feel it physically.
Wow.
I see colors. I taste things in my mouth. So
Wow.
it's like it's more of an intense
Sensory
experience.
overload
Right.
sometimes.
Exactly.
Wow,
So
okay.
like once again, that's why I'm like good at directing music because it's like I know what it needs to feel like
Okay.
physically.
Okay.
Like I know what it needs to
Oh,
feel
you got a
like.
cheat code, man. That's not fair, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel like when I like that's once again when I work on a music video with an artist, I can really get into their music
Right,
and
right,
I can think about, all right, this is how it makes me feel. Like now I can bring this into visuals and stuff. So it makes me very good at my job, but it just means that as soon as I don't have to listen to music,
Stops right there.
I like to just give myself a bit of a break, basically, let myself recharge. And then like, you know, in a situation where I'm working out or maybe I'm just bored and I just want to put on music, I'll put on music, but it's just not on every second.
How
Right.
do you recharge?
Silence is great. Talking to myself is great just so I can actually articulate and clear my mind and just empty my thoughts basically is like why I talk out loud a lot. I love like just sitting, like if I'm like on a bus, I love just sitting down and looking out the window, not
Yeah, I love that
moving,
one still.
just like hearing the sounds around me but
Yeah.
not paying attention to the sounds, like that sort of stuff I think is great. Love watching stuff. I love like YouTube, podcasts.
Have you got YouTube Premium?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say, who has that?
Why?
I've got it, yeah.
Okay.
I can't lie. It makes sense.
Was it by choice?
What? Yeah. Why do you?
So I
have
got a
that?
free trial, 3 months.
They got you, didn't they?
You know what it is? Usually I'll cancel it, yeah.
But you didn't.
But the
cancel.
fact
So
that I can...
what you're saying is you pay for YouTube.
Yeah.
Don't-
like,
don't do
that's
that,
what you're
wait.
Say it
saying,
with your
like,
chest.
I've deleted other... wait, I can't say the word properly. I've deleted other subscriptions.
Wow.
To
for
accommodate this
YouTube.
one.
No, isn't because trust me, YouTube's what I watch now.
True. It is. Yeah.
Like,
half an
I
hour on
download a
YouTube.
lot of videos, maybe on the train, on the ground, so I can watch
Okay,
it or whatever. And
Yeah.
obviously, you can turn off not turn off, but lock your phone,
Oh, and actually
and
hear.
it continues playing. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I can listen to
Mm.
music. Basically, it's Spotify, Netflix, and everything in one. That's the way I see it.
Does it have videos? Like,
Yeah.
like I mean, TV shows and stuff.
Not TV shows, but in terms
You
of
have
like,
to pay for those, isn't it?
say there's
YouTube.
a certain show or like, obviously I'm a West Ham supporter, so maybe there's like a certain training video, or they've got an interview or whatever.
Oh,
Slap
you watch
it
that
on,
stuff.
watch it,
It's like a
or
podcast. Almost
if
as
there's a
well.
podcast,
Right.
even things like Breakfast Club or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Literally just listen to it that way. But I don't know. I may come off it eventually.
You know, right.
I don't know.
When
I
you've
don't
got
like.
it like that, obviously you can.
I don't know. But I feel like I like to invest in things that actually feed my mind.
Mm.
There's this. Is it Friends and Family?
Friends and family.
Do you remember there's a podcast? No, like a creative YouTube channel.
Friends and family.
Friends and something.
Okay.
Friends
Do you
and
remember the one? I think what's it? Something Lacey.
yeah. Steve Lacey.
Steve Lacey, and then
Yeah.
they're talking about basically like using like minimal resources.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the name. But yeah, basically when he was using his phone to create.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I love listening to like, or like maybe his interview, or I say his name probably every episode, or Virgil Abloh. Like maybe there's like a seminar or lecture he's done. Just
Right.
slap it on in the background.
Yeah.
Because for me, that's like my motivation. You know, like athletes listen to like motivational video. Yeah, that's the.
Oh,
what's it
friends.
called?
It's actually called Friends and Family.
It's friends and family.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
snap. Okay, yeah.
Good
So
name.
that one. So like, it's almost like my motivational videos when I hear create. Because I think
The
for me-
process and stuff like that.
yeah, for me,
Okay.
sometimes when I feel like I'm feeling a bit dry right now, it's like creativity.
Yeah.
Just put something on just to inspire me again. You know.
Mm.
A lot of time when you're hearing these things, it makes you to think better. Like I was into a Childish Gambino version of this
Okay.
Friends and Family thing, and he's talking about how he doesn't want to be called just a rapper, because he's more than that. Now he's obviously done
He directs and like writes and
Atlanta,
stuff,
Yeah.
all these different things. So it's like, just encourage you that actually there's more to all of this. And for yourself, like, how do you got so many gifts and talents? How do you sort of like handle it, if that makes sense? Because you're not just a photographer.
You got too much power.
Do you know what I mean? Like, how do you? Is it just something you just navigate?
Like, how do you make space for accommodate all of them?
Yeah.
If you do.
Well, she sit in silence. You've got bare time.
Yeah. It's fine. I don't feel like it feels like I'm handling anything. It's just life is just moving.
So you just identify as a visual artist. That's just your thing.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
What's next?
Gosh.
Wow.
No pressure.
I'm actually working on a bunch of personal projects, which I'm like very excited about. I haven't done that in like 2 years, so I'm like,
just because of work. So.
It's like been impossible to find the time. But so I was just like, I need to just do it. So yeah, I'm working on a few photo series, and then I'm also working on a short film.
Ooh, nice.
So by the looks of things, it looks like all of those things are going to be released next year. The photo series might be this year, but it'll probably be the end of this year. But I'm in Nigeria end of the year, so I don't know. I might just, it's probably next year. But anyway, I'm working on things. I'm working to high quality. Like, I've just, like, there's just new things I want to explore and like new styles I want to express with and stuff. So I just need like the opportunity to do it. So I've got that. But things have been going well. Like, I feel really, really blessed, like, in terms of the people I'm able to work with for it, the people that are down to work with me. That's another reason why I feel like I don't feel underrated or like I need to be recognized anymore. Even if maybe I actually do, I don't feel it, because like whenever I need something, there's always people willing, and like the people I want are always replying to me.
Right.
Like I so I never feel like I'm lacking in any way, or like, there's somebody I really want to work with. I reach out to them and they're like not responding. That never happens to me. So it's just
Must be nice.
Riz.
Nice.
Yo.
Nwaka, I've been waiting for so long. Finally.
Oh,
That's
my
amazing,
days.
though.
yeah. So yeah, and then like it just doesn't happen. But in my head, in the occasion where it does happen, it's probably for the best. Like, if we don't align, then it's all, everything's working for good. So it's fine.
Everything has to be aligned.
I like it. You sound very like content.
Yeah.
I think that's like
You never hear that from a lot of
not at all. Like, it seems like, because I think especially in this day and age, I think a lot of things that you said, like, just compare with like our culture today. Seems a lot of people are always like thinking about the next thing or like wanting the clout or the recognition, more clout and stuff. And it's nice to hear like you just be like, okay, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, maybe just wasn't meant to be. But I'm just still gonna do me and do my own thing, and it will work out.
Yeah, very
really
present.
Nice. Yeah,
very present. Almost scary.
It must be scary.
No, because like for someone to be very present whilst they're doing so much, and your stuff is not like, oh, you do it today and it comes out today. It's things that are coming out in a month or 2 months, sometimes longer than that, and you're still present. Like, okay, this is done. Goodbye. Next thing. Oh, this is great. Next thing. And it's like you're always just there.
Yeah.
Creatives are like daydreamers. Like, we're thinking about, when is this invoice coming? You know what I'm saying?
But it kind of goes back to that thing of like everything contradicts. So it's like I have this element, but I do have moments where I'm just like, I want this now, or
the invoices, or just...
the invoices, the jobs. There's times where I'm not content, where I'm just like, I need to strive more. It's like, but I like that. I like the balance that brings of like, I can feel content when I need to. Like, if I'm like, yo, Walker, like this, your desire for more and like what you don't have is making you unhappy, immediately I can switch out of and be like, remember why you're doing this, who you are you still aligned to those things? If you are, good. If you're not, recalibrate, like sort that out. And then it's like, if I'm like, actually being too content and too standstill is not giving me the progression I want for my long-term goals. So now I need to pick up, you know what I mean? As long as you're flicking back and forth between these two contradictions, then I feel like that's what the balance is for me anyway.
That oscillating wave.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like music.
Yeah.
How important is your faith to you? Or is it something you don't really speak about?
No. My faith is definitely important. I think it's the key to like all the way I think, like my aims, like what I was saying earlier about the respect thing. It's like I could easily manipulate people. I could easily do, use people and stuff, but it doesn't align with my faith. So therefore, I don't want to indulge in that.
Yeah.
I could be, filled with a massive ego. I could be a very prideful person, but that doesn't align with my faith. So I don't want to indulge in that. Do you know what I mean? So that just really keeps me balanced, keeps me grateful, keeps me joyous. Like there's not much that can bring me down. I can't remember the last time I got angry. Like it's just, faith is key.
It's so important. That sense of groundness.
Yeah.
The thing is with creators as well, you see a lot of creators, they can lose their mind.
Yeah, literally.
It's massive. And this is a bit of a random one, yeah, but even with someone like Kanye, I feel like there's always two names that will come up on this podcast.
It's always him.
Virgil or Kanye West.
Kanye.
But I was watching back Sunday service, and he just looks so at peace.
He does.
It's almost like when you find like a level of faith, it's almost like you have some sort of value and foundation that you can always fall back on.
Yeah.
So for him, he just looks happy, and it's like at peace, and it's like obviously he still goes through his mental health stuff, but it's like I'm happy that he's found sort of that faith. Do you know what I mean? And I think is an important thing. Yeah, very important.
Because it's grounding. Because I think if a lot of creatives, I think that's one thing that perhaps we struggle with, where we have to figure out if it's important to us,
right?
Because it's very easy to kind of neglect that spiritual aspect of creating.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people just take it as, I'm a graphic designer. I just sit on the computer and I make things, pixel pushes. Yeah, but it's like
it's more than that.
There is a lot of
Even at my church, for example, like sometimes I look around, like see the stained glass windows and different things.
It takes you to a place. Doesn't
I'm just like, somebody made this like 100 years ago, or whatever, and like it's still saying something.
Feeling. It's actually feeling.
So even the maybe the font they've used or whatever, it shows me the time of day, how it was feeling. It's like nah, man, what we're doing has eternal impact. Do you get what I mean? When we're gone, this stuff is still going to exist.
Yeah,
that's the power of our work. So
facts. Yeah, Nwaka, did I say it right?
Yeah, I actually like the way you pronounce it.
Okay, come on.
Nice.
It's been honestly, it's been like a blessing to have you here, because I think this conversation was very fun. Even though you love silence, there was no silence. It was really great to have you. Hopefully, we can have you again at some point.
Sure.
For those who are listening, where can they find you?
On Instagram by _Walker. Is that my Instagram?
Yeah.
I think so.
Is that my
BY _NWAKA. But yeah, that's. I have a website that's in the bios. I don't know what my website's called. I think it's called Nwaka Okparaeke.
It's your full name.
But I think it's Squarespace. So anyway.
If you type her name in Google,
it will come up. A lot of things will come up. So
and a lot of great work to you.
Thank you guys, and I rate you guys too. Thanks for
Thank you so much.
Obviously,
thank you.
No, thank you. It's been a blessing.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in to today's episode of Rule of Thirds. Feel free to share your thoughts with us using the hashtag Rule of Thirds Pod. And for more from us, follow us on Instagram at Rule of Thirds Pod, or our personal accounts for myself, Burns JNR,
Mike at _ man like Mike,
and Jude at Kente Kwame.
Catch you guys in the next one.